Thanks for stopping by the Surge T channel. I am Surge T, and in this video I will be doing my recap and thoughts on the recent or current episode of The Walking Dead. This is episode 19 titled Variant. And The Walking Dead so far so good. Very, very good. I like the first two episodes they've dropped on us. For this last episodes, which is kind of sad to think, but again, we have those spin offs happening. So we'll still see Daryl. We'll still see Maggie. You know, we'll see Rick, Michonne, I'm sure. We'll see Negan. No Carol. Mr. McBride said that, mentioned that she's not going to be, or it was mentioned that she's not going to be in the spinoff with Daryl. And I gotta say, in this episode, I mean, if you look at my shirt, it says zombies are greater than people because at least zombies don't talk. You know, and that is that like the next kind of zombies. I mean, walkers that they have. I mean, remember in this one, you had walkers scaling walls. Aaron and Jerry and Lydia and Elijah get to the roof of a new place they found. I mean, Jerry, calls it the Kingdom too, and even Aaron told him that you could be the king, and then his wife be the queen. I think Ezekiel could be down with that. You know, he's really earned it. I'd say the fact that he survived this whole time, and like I always said about his wife, like his wife and kids, Jerry's wife and kids, they always pop up when everything's calmed down. I've never seen them in the middle of a conflict or anything like that. There were a couple times I think yeah, I believe there were, but most of the time it's like when they're done and everything is settled down for the moment. Here comes his wife. Here comes his kids. I guess they know how to hide well. They know how to get out of the way so that they're not in harm's way. Jerry probably has a secret cave that he lets them hide in. I don't know. I've always noticed that. But let's get into this episode. I really enjoyed it. You know, the thing about it is kind of messed up because Eugene was saving his love, his girl, his betrothed, as he likes to say, and his, you know, the person that makes his life worth living, and that's Max. He pushes the zombie off of her, the walker, and lands on, Sebastian. We all know what happens. Sebastian gets, chewed the fuck up, and he's, killed. The people just looking, just watching him. You see the beginning of the episode where he's going after a girl, looks like Max from behind. When she turns around, she's like scared and she's pointing, Eugene, it's the killer, Sebastian's killer, whatever she said, but she pretty much was pointing at him, and here he is. And I'm like going, yeah, but you and the other people just stood there and let Sebastian get killed. So he inadvertently caused his death. But then again, at the same time, he just pushed the walker on him. They could have all ganged up and pulled his walker off of him, and then they could have, took him out. But I think it's just because they're so, what's the word? But I think it's because they're so, protected and kept away from walkers. I don't think any of them, a lot of them have seen walkers. Maybe they have, but maybe it was just such a long time. I don't know. They all could have ganged up on. They all could have got things better, but it's because of the fact that they don't want to have anything to do with the Milton family. They know that they're crooked. They know that they're corrupt. Especially what after Sebastian said. The audio that was played by what do you call it? Played by Eugene. While Max is sitting there, he yells out to her, "You bitch!" and he starts running after her in the last episode. Right? His intent was to kill her, take care of her. You know, take her out. Now we see him. He's in this episode, right? And he's hiding. Then what happens is that Mercer is charged with, getting these guys, friends of Eugene, possible aiders and abettors of him, and people that are going to try to get him out of there. Right? He interrogates Rosita, even his own sister, even Princess. amongst others. But, you know, Rosita's like, so this is it? This is how it is? You're just going to treat me like a stranger? Because the way he was interrogating her was just like, he's not a comrade. She's not a fellow, trained, what's that? Trained, Commonwealth soldier. Just treating her like she's just anybody else. He has a job to do, yeah, of course. He has a job to do, but it's just like, this is Rosita we're talking about. Then his own sister. Wanted to go along with what Pamela Milton said. There's a written statement that says that she was suffering from depression and she was offered meds, and she made up the footage somehow. The audio, so that it made him look like Sebastian, make him look like he was saying what he said, but really wasn't. She wasn't gonna go for that. She even took the pen, put it on the tablet there, and just pushed it to her brother. Pretty much saying, she even cited the fact that their father, who was a general, was a great man as a soldier and a great man as a civilian. And she told Mercer that Dad would have been disappointed in you. And he understood what she meant, and he had a look on his face like, yeah, he knows. He's torn between being a soldier loyal to the Miltons and a human being who has people that he cares about. Cares about his sister. Cares about, Princess. I know he even cares about, Rosita as well, because, like I said, they were like comrades, fellow soldiers in the Commonwealth. But like, there's even a moment like when Princess was, she's pissed. She was saying that you kept me in a room for 3 hours and it smelled like armpits and ass in there. And he's like, oh, well, what do you expect me to do? I can't show you, what do you call that? I can't show favoritism. There's even a moment when she's about to leave because she wants to just get out of there. She's not going to stay there. She doesn't want to see Eugene be killed and stuff. She doesn't want to deal with that nonsense anymore. And she tells him the story about how she was raised by she has a mother. Father left her when she was about 5. Then when she was 9 and a half, her mother marries a dude, her stepfather, and then she has a stepbrother, and they turn out to be monsters. She even made an analogy of how she had to deal with men turning into monsters, but now we actually have monsters turning into monsters. But she looks at Mercer and says, but you are not any of that. You're not even that. Telling him that he's a good dude. She knows that he's a good guy that she can trust. They've been intimate. They've been very, very close. So they know each other and they have that bond. You know what I mean? Of two people that love each other, but she's willing to just go, I gotta go, and leave him behind. And she kind of left him with the whole thing of like, think about it, or something like that, where, you see him and he's kind of beside himself as she leaves. And, so you have that. And then Eugene. Like Eugene, you all know how he started out. The season that he premiered in with Rosita and with Abraham. And he had them all fooled, saying that he was a scientist that had a way to cure what causes people to turn into walkers. After they die, they reanimate, they become walkers. In the end, you find out he was even saying, I lied, I'm not a scientist. That famous scene when Abraham clocked him and then he hit his head on the car or the bumper, and then he's laid out. He had a lot to prove, in the beginning of the series. I mean, the series, and you see him, and then he turns around full circle. Instead of being the coward, the guy who always had to let other people be the hero, and he just goes along for the ride. You see him here make an ultimate sacrifice, pretty much saying that I'm not going with you guys. Rosita and Daryl, they got a beeline. They're gonna go, and they got a plan. They're gonna leave. Hopefully, take the other guys, the other ones with them. But he says like, I'm gonna stay here. He knows the consequences. He knows what's gonna happen. And even he and Rosita have a tender moment, very very special, emotional moment. Tears are just streaming down her eyes because she loves Eugene like a brother. Of course, initially we all know something like we all would like to do. Is that is be boyfriend to Rosita, right? Kristen Serratos is a beautiful girl, one of my favorite actresses. Love her and everything that things that she's done, especially the Selena series. I think she did a great job portraying Selena. And it turned into a mutual love of a brother and a sister. And they share a very very tight, very very just really emotional hug. Like she knew, pretty much. She's like, you know, you could tell that she's doing this and she's thinking this might be the last time that I ever get to hug, Eugene. And so, what does he do? If we see him walk into the, to the police department there, or the office of the Commonwealth soldiers, the Commonwealth Army, and he confesses. He says, "I surrender." He says, "I'm the one who played the footage. Played the audio, and I'm the one that inadvertently caused the death of Sebastian Milton." And speaking of Sebastian Milton, he hasn't reanimated yet. He hasn't become a zombie yet. But he's strapped to the gurney, tight. You could tell he was not. You know that he's not going to be able to break free and have at it with whoever's there. You see Pamela Milton just standing over her dead son's body. She knows he's going to turn. Someone said we need to take him out, or we need to put him out of his misery, whatever, however the guy worded it. She says, no, we're not. We're not going to do that right away. I am going to decide what happens to my son. Now, there's a moment there. She's, just sitting there, rubbing his, brushing his hair away, and saying that there's a lot of plans, a lot of things, that they were going to do and things like that, and now it's not going to happen. Something like that, where she was just kind of mulling over the life of her son, who she kind of leans to, leans into the fact that maybe he was a disappointment. Didn't he talk about in the past? He talked about having a brother that she loved more, something like that. Well, he turns and she sees he's there, and she stands back a little bit. In comes the soldier as she opens the door, and she tells him take care of that. I'm thinking he's just gonna, you know, just pop him one, with a gun, take him out, stick a knife in his head, and that's that. But we find out later that she indeed did not have the soldier take him out like everybody does to a walker to kill the walker. She goes and visits Milton. I mean, not Milton. She goes and visits Hornsby. Hornsby sitting there, and she's stroking his hair, and he's breathing heavy. And I think there's something between these two. They may have had been lovers in the past. I don't know, or maybe he has a longing for her that it's never been requited, or how's that word? It's never been returned, kind of thing. And she's talking to him. She's saying that I know you're the one that caused the death of my son. So I'm thinking right away. I'm thinking, oh, so you're going to have someone else take the blame, yet you know that it was Hornsby that started it. She said you killed those workers. They turned into walkers and they killed people. You know, so you right there. It's just like Eugene. What he did is almost like someone holding a gun, and a gun went off accidentally and shot somebody and killed him. He didn't mean to. Like when he pushed him off, he's just pushing the walker off of Max and landed on it. If anything, the people are the ones that are, you know, they're the ones that are, what do you call the word? They are the ones that are to blame. They didn't do nothing. And of course, when you think about it, why would they? After hearing what Sebastian said, I wouldn't help him either. But like I said, the one girl that turns around, he thought it's Max, and she goes, "Hey, it's him, it's Eugene. He's the one that killed him." Like I'm like going, "Well, no, you guys did. You didn't do nothing to help him. Help Sebastian." So, like I said, who would help him, right? Now, we have that, and then we have a thing where, okay, like I mentioned, Aaron, Jerry, Lydia and Lydia and Elijah, who are, you know that they're getting close. You know that they have an attraction between each other. He went to try to kiss her one moment, and she kind of backed away. Said, "I'm gonna go help, with stuff, And then Aaron sees that. He notices that, and he relates to her the relationship between him and Eric. His boyfriend. When he says that they got married, not unofficially, but they were. That was the love of his life. They had a good relationship. They had a good thing going. He, of course, died. As a result, he was bit or something happened. And he was saying that pretty much it's like he said that for 6 months he didn't say yes when Eric was asking him to. I believe it was asking him out on a date. Yeah, I think so. And then when he finally did, shortly after, he died. And he said that he could have, he easily wants to take away one of those no's, you know, because then he would have had more time with him. Pretty much saying that time is short, especially in the age that they're living in, the age of the walkers and all that stuff, the apocalypse. So she kind of takes that to heart, and then later on, he's like, okay, he's just thinking that, okay, let's just get stuff ready, let's just do this, and then she just pulls him toward him, and she gives him a kiss, and then they kiss and have a passionate kiss, and but after that, that's when Jerry says that, this is the, it's going to be a great way for Ezekiel to become king again. And then Aaron's like, well, what about King Jerry? And I forget his wife's name, but he says Queen. It's his wife's name, and King. And then he's like, that's a good ring to it, you know. But before that was the happy ending of that part. But before that, they noticed that there were zombies. This was before they even got to that place. There was walkers coming, and they were trapped. The thing that they had, carriage that they had that was carrying supplies for Oceanside, got stuck. So they're pushing on it, pushing it, pushing it. When they pushed it up and it was able to be on a flat surface, Jerry twisted some weird way, and it like really injured his knee. Totally just shattered his knee. So they have that. They have walkers walking. You know, they decide to take. They notice the place off in the distance. The place I was talking about. They end up going over there, and they think that they're okay. They're safe. They checked everything. They checked everything 3 times. When it was not dark. Lydia was like, okay, she keeps hearing noises. She kept hearing something. He's like, no, well, we triple checked everything. Everything is secure. And then a really big back crash, and she's like, that's not normal. And they realized that all the walkers are inside that sanctuary, that compound. They're able to fend them off. They're able to get to the roof of the one of the buildings there. And then you see Jerry over his shoulder. You see a hand come over, and when you know it, one of the walkers climbs to the roof, and Aaron's able to take it out. He goes to pull the mask. He's thinking it's a whisperer. He even mentioned it earlier, like we gotta get rid of find the guy who's the whisperer. And then they pull it off, and all he does is just pull the person's skin off of his head. You see the skull. So he's going, oh man, this is a real walker. Jerry's like, how in the hell did that walker climb? Even down below, before they went to the roof, a walker opened the door, used the doorknob. He's like, what kind of walker, uses the doorknob? You know? And then Aaron's like, I've heard about other kinds of walkers that can climb walls, that they can use doorknobs. Like you would think that would be the natural progression of things with the species of walkers. They're going to go from being mindless zombies to having some kind of sense. If you thought that was the case, them talking, we thought that was the case. Remember when the whisperers were introduced, right? We thought when they were introduced, we thought those were talking walkers. They weren't. They were human beings underneath walker masks, right? So they're able to take them out. They're able to dispatch them in the morning. You see them all laid out, And of course, like I said, Jerry's thinking that we can make this the kingdom. We can make this the second kingdom. Kingdom Part Two. And that's that when it comes to that situation. It's like Aaron even said, I hope there ain't no other kinds because he said he heard of the other kinds, and I wouldn't want to. This is bad enough. Walkers that can climb walls and use doorknobs. It's probably like a what do you call it? Like a what do you call that? Where they have like it's just them reacting. Like it's like a form of something that they remember from when they were humans. You know what I mean? It's like with Day of the Dead. The original one back in was 78, 1978. And there was even a zombie that was shaving. A zombie that zombies that remembered human traits and human things. So that's probably what it is. Who knows, right? Um, let's get to the end, right? I mean, we see Rosita, and she's like, "Okay, so we're ready to go." She turns around, and then it's two dudes, and she's fighting them off as best she can, using that hand-to-hand combat that she knows. But they overpower her, and then you see a sack or something just go over the camera. That's representing her. You know, you find out that all of them, like in the next episode, you show the next episode, and then you find out that all of them, you know, were taken. Rosita and her friends, whoever. You see Daryl go at Hornsby, telling him, "Hey, where are my friends?" Because okay, I'll show you where your friends are. You see Eugene in a jail cell. We see just pretty much kind of you can see that the next thing is, from what I remember, it was just they got kidnapped. I mean, not kidnapped, but they got taken away somewhere. You even see Daryl go. They got the kids too. We see Carol in the preview as well. So that's the focus. Like, where are they? Where were they taken? What is the situation there? It's one of those things where like we know that it's ending, and you're wondering what is going to be the end game. Like if it's just going to be Maggie and Negan, and then you have Daryl and you have Rick, and I'm sure Michonne, spin-offs in the movies when it comes to Rick. So who is going to be, are they going to be the sole survivors? That's why they have their spin-offs, or are you going to see something happen to where they're able to, Jerry and his family and some others are able to go somewhere. They're safe somewhere. They're just going to leave it at that. Leave it at that, and they're just gonna get away from there. They're part of the past, and they're part, and they're gonna move on. Gonna move on with their life and stuff. And we're gonna just focus on the people that I said are gonna have their spin-offs. This episode. Hopefully, I didn't miss anything, but I'm pretty sure I covered the basis on all the storylines that were going on in this episode. But I enjoyed it. Like I've never not enjoyed a episode of The Walking Dead. There are some that I'm like disappointed in, some that I'm thinking it could have been better. But like what some people say that this thing kind of trailed off and it sucks. I mean, people are entitled to their opinion. If you say you feel that, I can see why. But when it comes to me, I'm just basically focused on. I like I just I don't have nothing to say bad about it. I don't. There's some, like I said, there's some times where it's disappointing, some seasons that are weaker than the others. But I personally think that this show never fell off. I know that there are some people that want a certain thing and they want a certain thing to be consistent. They don't like all the character development. They don't like all the focus on people's different stories, especially when they did the leap into 6 years into the future, right? And they just want zombie stuff. And then these are the same people that complain if there's too much zombie stuff. Where's Daryl? Where's them? I want to see what they're doing. And then when we see what they're doing, oh, where's the walkers? Where's the thing? Where's the deaths? We want to see major characters getting killed off so that it makes us, you know, I don't know. I don't want to see none of the main characters be killed off. They got to. We've seen some, and we've seen some that we thought did die and they didn't. Right? Glenn is just the perfect example, right? Going under the damn dumpster. And it was that other dude that was on top of him, and he was getting his stomach ripped apart, and we thought it was Daryl. I mean, thought it was Glenn. It wasn't. Rick, we thought he got blown up on that bridge. No, he didn't get blown up on the bridge. You know, Jadis came in and swooped in and took him away to wherever she took him away to. And Michonne is out going to look for him. But anyway, that's my video for The Walking Dead season 11 with the 19th episode entitled Variant. A very good episode. Of course, the Variant does refer to those new type of walkers. Hopefully there's no other variants, but I'm pretty sure there is. We'll just wait and see, right? But anyway, before I end this video, I must want to say thanks for stopping by. Please, if you want to, please subscribe to my channel. Please click like and share this video if you liked it. Comment on it. You can comment on it if you like, if you feel. Oh yeah, I gotta add this. I forgot. How could I forget Sebastian turning, right? And after, you're thinking, okay, she says, I'll take care, I'll decide what to do with him. And then later on, before, she's talking to Hornsby, and then after, she talks to Hornsby, he opens the door, and in comes the walker himself, Sebastian. She didn't do anything to him. And then they throw in a freshly killed body. You can see that it's been shot in the head, so definitely ain't gonna come back to life. And then when she leaves, she's all, make sure you feed my son. Creepy. Keeping him alive. I couldn't see whether or not he was still tied, Sebastian. But they let they cut off his restraints, Hornsby. And then he had a knife dropped right in front of him. I thought, oh, that's used to kill him. No, that's used to slice some pieces off of that dead person to feed Sebastian. I don't know how I forgot that. I think I just went off to another thing. I went to another subject. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to Hornsby. Is he going to be killed, or what if he runs out of food? If you're a zombie or if you're a walker, you're ravenous, man. You don't have a ending, you don't have a never-ending appetite. So, I mean, if he knows, Hornsby knows, But then, if he does that, he doesn't want to upset Pamela Milton. Pamela didn't want to kill her son yet, so maybe she wants him alive for some reason. She wants to just see that her son is walking and moving and looking alive, even though he's a walker and he's dead. So he's kind of in a position where he doesn't want to be there with a walker, but then Pamela wants him to do it. He's always been someone who obeys and pays, and does what Pamela Milton's bidding. So yeah, hopefully they show that in the next episode and see him feeding Sebastian, and yeah, we'll see. But yeah, anyway, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, appreciate it. And in closing, and as always, take care.